great down here in Tennessee. We don't need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves.
Welcome in the Titans Tube, everyone. Raw. Yes. Guys, welcome in. I'm Justin. This is Jake, as always. And for the first time this season, we get to have a winning edition of Titans Tube. As the Tennessee Titans, for the second year in a row, take care of the Miami Dolphins in Miami on Monday Night Football. Jake, a lot of applause to go around here. First of all, flowers to Brian Callahan. First win as an NFL head coach. Applause to the Titans team for breaking the streak of sub 30-point performances. We got there, Jake. It took a defensive safety. I mean, they had to chip in too, but we made it, dude. We made it, and it was I don't know how, but even. Dude, this franchise is crazy. We even make scoring 30 points look like pretty ugly. Like it was pretty we scratched and clawed our way to those 31 points. And also, how about I'll go ahead and give shout outs to player of the game. I think was Nick Folk. I read today, I think he's the oldest kicker in NFL history to go 3 for 3 for 50+ yard field goals.
Pretty good.
Dude, that's so nice to see.
Pretty good.
It's nice to see because that was his one thing, as an older kicker, he didn't have the leg. We saw him miss a few kicks last year over 50 yards. So he looked automatic, and he hasn't missed a kick yet this year. And I think it's good that he's doing this because we did see our kicker in preseason that got some hype. Now he's the kicker for the Green Bay Packers, who's also having a good season. So good on Nick Folk for kind of validating that decision. I don't know if there ever was a true decision to be made, but anyway. So yeah, dude, Nick Folk, and I think speaking of player of the game, then we should get to it at some point. But I'll go ahead and throw his name out there. T'Vondre Sweat is looking like a dog on the defensive line. So those were the big key standouts. I mean, we had the slower first half field goal battle. Then the Titans kind of started to pull away there. A touchdown each going to our running backs, Spears and Pollard. But anyway, the story is Titans finally all right, 1-3. We are heading into the bye week. Again, Will Levis is going to be a topic of conversation. He can't stay out of these game headlines, Jake. So I don't know. We saw Mason Rudolph, Jake. So I'll throw it to you. What are your takeaways from this game, and then the quarterbacks we saw?
Absolutely. Justin, you put it exactly the way I was going to open. Only the 2024 Tennessee Titans could win by 3 touchdowns and have it be one of the ugliest, boring games we've seen all season. Even week 1, that was a disaster against the Chicago Bears, was a lot more entertaining than this football game, Justin. But you know what, Justin? I am not going to complain. This is not a complaints episode. This is not a sadness sitting in the dark episode. We're recording it while the sun is still up here in the Eastern time zone. I know you're Central. We get a little bit longer, but not too much. But Justin, 38 games, 1,002 days. We were there, and it was against the Miami Dolphins, mind you, Justin. I'm going to put the picture up on the screen. Look at us. We're so happy. Look how happy we were. The Titans were the 1 seed in the AFC at this point in time. And now, 1,002 days later, 38 football games, Justin. I have sat down to watch 38 football games in a row where the Titans could not muster up 30 points. And you said it. I almost had forgotten about the safety on Tyler Huntley's grounding in the end zone. That is hilarious that's what it took to push us over the edge. Sometimes all you need to kickstart a scoring spree, Justin, is 5 field goals and a safety. That's all you need. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
We had
is
to
to
5
get
field
up
goals
to
and a
that
safety. And we just got over that 30-point mark. I mean, dude, thank God
It's
for the
beautiful.
Miami Dolphins.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, man, and and talking of kind of the opponent too, you gotta have to take into context Miami here. They're a struggling football team. I think the Bryce Young Panthers might have gotten a win Monday night against that team because they did not look good, but we were desperate for a win, and I kind of think this is how I expected the Packers game to kind of go with Malik Willis coming in here with a lesser breed of quarterback and very new to the system, with Huntley coming in there, not
like
very experienced. Yeah. Not a lot of experience or reps with the team. But Malik Willis lit us up. But this was kind of a game you expect your team to perform with a pretty good defense against a second or a third string quarterback. So it was nice to see the Titans kind of win a game where you really expected them to win. And to my surprise, Jake, we've picked the Titans to win in every single game so far this year. For one reason or another, but we finally got over that hump, and I think it's good that getting this win and going into the bye and kind of getting our feet back on the ground and looking ahead to a really big Colts game at home next week. That game, is going to be a lot bigger now. And trying to string some wins together finally, and then the schedule gets harder. But yeah, dude, you liked what you saw, especially out of the defense in this game, doing what they're supposed to do without big Jeff Simmons there on the defensive line.
Absolutely. You also, again, you're taking all my talking points, Justin. This is how we pictured maybe week 1 going with Caleb Williams, and it kind of did.
True. Yeah.
Except the major, fatal mistake. And then, Justin, I wasn't going to complain, but we had another blocked punt in this game. And there was another point after the safety in the free kick where we didn't know whether we were supposed to field the ball or let it roll. And I thought that was going to be Miami Dolphins football after they let that roll back. I thought for sure. And again, I don't know the name of our special teams coordinator. Frankly, it doesn't behoove me to look it up at this point. I don't know if that makes me a bad fan. I don't know if that makes me a bad YouTube host. I don't care because he needs to go. How many blocked punts is it going to take, Justin? We've done it in every game. Have we done it in every game? Did we not get a block punt in the Packers? We didn't get a block punt in the Packers game.
No block punt for the Packers. Yeah. Well, the punt.
Three out of four.
It got barely tipped, right? Am I remembering that correctly? It still went down the field. Mm-hmm. Like it didn't kill us in field position. But the point remains that the special teams defensive line or whatever is getting back there and getting way too close to Stoney, way too consistently. Every time. Yeah. And the onside kick thing was weird. It was an onside free kick after a safety punt thing. And it seemed like I was reading some talk afterwards. It seemed like nobody really knew what the rule was. Even the refs were like landing zone. There was there was a landing zone issue, and I don't know, we'll give the ball to the Titans at the 10-yard line.
Well, I've never seen that. I've never seen that before ever. Where there's a penalty on the kicking team on the free kick that then they don't re-kick from the 10. The Titans just get the ball from the 10. That was an oddity. I've never seen that before in any football game I've ever watched.
Yeah. So with all these kickoff rule changes, maybe that's something that the NFL will look at and be like, okay, what are we doing here in this scenario? And what exactly are the rules? I mean, the special teams coordinator, he looked pretty pissed at what's his name? 19, our rookie returner.
Jackson.
He seemed like dude, the obvious move is to fair catch it, but you gotta. I guess that wasn't communicated or something, I don't know.
Our special teams unit can't communicate anything, Justin. They can't communicate how to successfully block a punt for a single game, maybe 2 games in a row. Nick Folk is the shining star. I don't know why our field goal unit is so amazingly perfect on special teams, but we can't get a punt off. We can't field a kickoff. It's brutal. But that aside,
Well, here we are, Jake, complaining again. Here we are complaining.
This is
a
my
winning
fault.
edition.
Do you want to go to Will Levis's pick? To
No,
the defensive
now we're gonna
lineman?
talk. We got to talk about Will Levis, and he still can't keep from turning the ball over. Yeah, here we are again complaining about Will Levis, but we won. We won the game. But yeah, so you hate to see that, dude. I mean, I don't think the Dolphins got any points off of it, but dude, that's all I want to see is I want to see a full Will Levis game where he doesn't turn the ball over. I want to see what this team looks like when the offense can take care of the ball. And we kind of saw that with Rudolph when he came in. Like, he didn't do a lot. He didn't inspire a whole lot of confidence. Like,
he
yes,
didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make a mistake. He threw the ball out of bounds when he was about to get sacked.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
And that is an improvement, obviously, from turning the ball over in the ways that Will Levis has been doing for us. But it was, yeah, like a barely over a 50% completion percentage, 80-something yards. It was a hand off the ball and let your defense play defense kind of a football game. So we did ask for Rudolph to do a lot. Although I will say one of the best plays, and I think we needed it pretty bad, was right before halftime. That was a great play and a pass to Tyler Boyd to set up another long field goal for Folk going into half. That was nice to see. But Callahan said it after the game in the presser that they were, and I expected him to say, we're being careful with Levis's shoulder going into the bye week. He's our starter. And so, yeah, that's what he said. Levis is the starter. We don't have a QB controversy. Calling for Will Levis to get benched, I think is still super early. And as frustrating as it is to see, him not being able to take care of the football for 4 quarters of a game. I saw some comments on Reddit that, what do you want when you put in Rudolph? We know what Rudolph is. What is he going to really give us? He's a pretty solid backup quarterback. He has a really low ceiling, but an okay floor. I mean, he can go into a game and take care of the ball. And that's honestly one of the best things you can ask for your backup quarterback. But Will Levis is still young, and we still have to see what this guy can do when he doesn't turn the ball over. If we can get to that point, that's a really big step to get on. Is can we not turn the ball over, Will, and then really properly evaluate you? I know a lot of people are checked out. Maybe I'm giving Will Levis a longer leash than Titans fans should, and what a lot of Titans fans are. I don't know, but. I still need to see more, and for the love of God, I want to see him not turn the ball over for a game, and to see what this team can do when he's able to do that. So yeah, that's my take on the quarterbacks.
Case in point, Justin, you need to look across the NFL to the other, light blue colored franchise that came to be in the 1990s, and the Carolina Panthers, Justin. Bryce Young, #1 overall pick. They sold the farm for him, and he was given a extremely shorter leash than Will Levis, and he's benched for Andy Dalton. Which, I mean, you can tell the same exact story that you just told, Justin. We know what Andy Dalton is. He's not gonna inspire anything. His ceiling's probably low at this point in his career, but he's gonna go in. He's going to be smart. He's going to take care of the ball, yada, yada, yada. There's no upside to playing Andy Dalton. There's no upside to playing Mason Rudolph. But Justin, when it comes down to winning football games, so your objective every Sunday is to go out to win a football game, who gives you the better chance? Mason Rudolph not turning the ball over, or Will Levis right now? And it's Mason Rudolph not turning the ball over. I mean, as sad as it is, as sad as the handoff fest we saw last night over and over and over again, they hardly let Mason throw the ball. They don't have a lot of faith in him. That much was obvious.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Titans are 2-1, 3-1, without Will Levis's absolutely unforgivable mistakes. And he keeps making them. He comes off the field. I didn't see the linebacker. He's standing right there. He's a defensive lineman, basically, just standing right in front of the hitch route, and you threw it right in his gut. I mean, what are you looking at? And it's
Yeah.
every single week turning the ball over, and it's ridiculous. I mean, 9 turnovers on the year, leading the league in turnovers. If your objective as Brian Callahan is to go win a football game, you have no allegiance to Will Levis. Carolina had 5, 10 times the allegiance to Bryce Young, and they put him on the pine, Justin. He's on the bench for Andy Dalton. So I don't
Right.
know. It's tough. It's a tough spot because, like you said, there's no upside to playing Mason Rudolph. But when it comes down to who's giving us the best shot at winning a football game, Mason Rudolph is 1-0. Will Levis is 0-3 and looking not very much the franchise quarterback part. And Justin,
Yeah.
there's another thing that's starting to drive me insane. We talked about it week 1. I'm sure we've talked about it many a times. We've recapped Will Levis games. This guy cannot be a franchise quarterback with the way that he plays. I mean,
He got himself hurt again.
he's throwing his right shoulder into dudes trying to truck him. And then he's diving for the first down, which he got, by the way. That was a bad spot on that call, but
Yes.
lands on his right shoulder, hurts his right shoulder. I mean, when is he going to look like he might have an inkling of a franchise quarterback? You know, I brought up the Jake Lockers, the Marcus Mariotas. You know, we had more faith in them because they didn't absolutely play recklessly to the point where they're hurting the football team and hurting themselves. I mean, Jake Locker
Yeah.
got hurt
Sure.
all the time, but he wasn't being stupid about it. You know, he wasn't being an idiot throwing his, surgically repaired right shoulder into dudes trying to make, Hellman's ads. So it's a tough spot. I don't know, my rope is
Yeah.
up with Will Levis. I mean,
Interesting.
he has no leash from me. But
So
if
you
I'm
are Brian Callahan. Come week 6, we have the Colts coming into town. And if we win that game, maybe we could start to turn this thing around. We would be in second. We would be in second place in the division, not too far off from the Texans. Do you, as head coach, make the change now? Would you start Mason Rudolph in 2 weeks against the Colts with an extra bye week to prep?
How healthy is Will Levis? The extra bye week is interesting.
Yeah.
How healthy is Will Levis?
90%. Let's say he's almost like fully capable and ready. So like you're playing Rudolph with the mindset that Will Levis is benched essentially. Like you're done. You're done with him.
Benching, I mean, so there's 2 schools of thought. You can't bench Will Levis because it will ruin him. You know, it'll shatter his confidence. Is being a meme week after week after week after week and single-handedly causing your team to lose week after week after week after week and getting sacked 6 plus times week after week after week, is that not shattering Will Levis's confidence? I mean, is his confidence not as low as it could be already? I mean, at what point, how do you get lower than leading the league in turnovers after 4 games, injuring your shoulder, losing in absolutely horrendous fashions all 3 weeks of the season? You know, you have weapons all around you. You can't get the ball to them. Your offensive line is hanging you out to dry. At what point do you draw the line? And this is why I'm not a head coach, Justin, because I'm going to be sitting on this fence forever, bad mouthing Will Levis, but also saying, I don't know if we can start Mason Rudolph. And if you have 2 quarterbacks, Justin, you have none. And the Titans have 2 not very good quarterbacks, frankly. And it sucks because this roster is a good roster. And we just do not have the quarterback talent to get it done. Now, that being said, if Will Levis is 80% or, lower than that with the extra bye week, I mean, I'm seriously considering playing Mason Rudolph. I'm going to be having a lot of conversations and a lot of maybe even game planning for it because we didn't see anything from Mason Rudolph last night. It was handoff Tony Pollard left, handoff Tony Pollard right, handoff Spears left, Spears right. And I don't know what a full Mason Rudolph game plan looks like. I don't know if I want to see a full Mason Rudolph game plan, but I think you have to seriously consider it. And the bye week kind of came at a good time, frankly. It's crazy to say that, having the first eligible bye week of the season. We're like, oh, thank God, we needed that.
Oh.
But as Brian Callahan, I think you have to seriously consider it. I don't think he's going to. I think he is truthfully saying, Will's our quarterback 100% if he's healthy, blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think you said there's no upside to starting Mason Rudolph. I think you're going to say you're going to start Will Levis, but if he goes out and turns the ball over on the first two possessions of the game against the Colts, Justin, I mean, when is enough?
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting really close to that point, and it's getting harder to defend starting Will Levis. But I mean, part of me thinks for better or for worse, we just have to ride with him, because Rudolph isn't the future of this team. And either way, even if you don't think Levis is, you got to play him anyway, do you not? And then look forward to 2025. And are we on the search for our next franchise quarterback? I think a lot of Titans fans are starting to look that way now.
Yeah.
That Levis is not the guy.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to look 2 years into the future and target a certain Manning nephew / son, who's looking pretty good right now, but who knows? But that's but still, for as far as next season, 2025. I feel like a lot of Titans fans do not want to see Will Levis back in a Titans uniform. There's still time to correct it. I mean, life in the NFL, like you said, it's getting really, really shorter every year, it seems like, especially for young franchise hopeful quarterbacks like Bryce Young. He had not even a season and a quarter before he got benched. Will Levis has gotten not even a season and a quarter, because we had Tannehill and Malik Willis last year, 2 starting games here and there. But yeah, long past are the days of where Peyton Manning in the late 90s are throwing 25 interceptions in a season and having that time to still stay in there and learn from the mistakes and get better with experience. You almost have to be good right out of the gate. You have to be a CJ Stroud, like immediately, boom, he's lighting the league on fire. So I don't know. I think it's a tough spot to be in. I think you do have to. I think we need to ride with Levis when he's healthy. We don't want to send him out there banged up against a very questionable offensive line pass protecting for him. But I think we're kind of stuck, and I think the better move, because we're not out here evaluating Mason Rudolph. I mean, and we're certainly not going to win a Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph back there. I don't know if we can even sneak into the playoffs starting Rudolph, even Rudolph with as good as he can possibly play, taking care of the football, being the game manager.
Titans are 2-2. Titans are 2-2 with a game manager quarterback. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I bring up, is your objective to win football games, yes or no? And it's, obviously, yes.
True.
You play to win the game. And who gives you the best chance?
True.
Who gives you the best chance to do that, Justin? And, in my opinion, if I really was Brian Callahan, Will Levis would have been benched after he committed the Jets turnover, where he did it 2 weeks in a row. Ooh. You're done. You're done. I mean, fool me once, fool me twice. You're making me look like an idiot, because I keep sending you out there and you keep doing the dumbest shit in the entire world, like unforgivable, elementary stuff in the NFL. And to repeat those mistakes is brutal. And that's why I came on here after week 1 and I said, Will Levis is done. I mean, he's going to have to really win me back and win Titans fans back. And he's only done negative things for the football team since the pick 6 in Chicago. So it's going to be interesting going forward. I don't
gotta think like next game. Yeah, I feel like you got to put it out there that next game, if he's healthy enough, This is your moment, Levis.
Yeah.
Like, show us what you can do against our hated division rival at a very crucial point in the season. Or if we lose, I mean, it's almost going to be it's probably impossible to come back from 1-4 and having games against Buffalo, and now Minnesota is looking like a great team, and 2 games against Houston Texans team, and yeah, so things we're almost going to be looking to next season if we don't have this must-win game at home against the Colts, win back the fan base, play smart, take care of the football. I think it starts in 2 weeks against the Colts for Levis to I guess really put it on the line and show us that there is something there and he deserves to be out there for this football team. And yeah, no, yeah, like you said, we are on like fool me 5, fool me 6 times now because he does keep doing this. But I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to say, but I think you got to give him that chance against the Colts. Because I mean, well, if we could put Mason Rudolph out there and we do win against Indianapolis, I might as well say, yeah, Levis's time is over in Tennessee if he can't outplay a backup quarterback like Mason Rudolph. So I don't know. An interesting conversation, and that'll be the big talking point amongst this fan base for the next couple weeks.
Absolutely.
So we'll see we'll see. But I'm pretty sure we're talking about what should we do. I think Callahan is 100% going to put Levis out there.
Yes.
Against the Colts. Yeah.
Yep. Because he wants that number 1 draft pick, Justin. Because
to get his guy. He's like, well, Levis is about 30% healthy, but he's our starter. We got to throw him out there. We got to hope for the best. Yeah.
I mean,
I keep stacking L's.
Yeah. I know that there's not very many Titans fans left in Will Levis's camp, but you have to think it would be completely deserted if he never put on the Oilers throwbacks and made his NFL debut and threw 4 touchdowns in that game.
I know.
You know,
Why
if that game doesn't happen, there's no believers in Will Levis. There's none. And nobody's waiting on him to, come back with that potential. And I feel like, I've been sitting waiting on Will Levis, man, throw a deep ball, start dicing them up, use those jacked biceps of yours and start slinging the ball across the yard. But we're just not getting it. We're not seeing it.
Yeah.
And
the thing is,
it's a bummer.
You see a lot of his tools, his physical talent. Like, he's got a strong arm. He can run. He has that athletic ability, but he's just not playing smart and making the right reads and putting his team in jeopardy and his own. He's hurting himself and his team, like you were saying, just putting himself in harm's way time and again. And just not playing smart at all. And it's not getting better. So yeah, and it comes back to, I just want to see him play a game where he doesn't turn the ball over. I want to see what version this Titans team can look like when they have a quarterback that does that. And we won a game with game manager extraordinaire Mason Rudolph because he took care of the ball. So like you said, we're repeating ourselves now, but like 2-2, 3-1 is definitely a record this team could have had if we had smarter quarterback play.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Justin, I don't know. I'm going to be done complaining now. I want to shout out Tony Pollard. Yeah. Tony Pollard. Pollard. Have you seen that video of that guy's grandma? Anyways.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Tony Pollard and Brian Callahan for going for it on the 4th down, Justin, because I really think Brian Callahan had this in his head, because why else are you going for it on 4th down and garbage time on the goal line at the 4-yard line? Tony Pollard bounces it outside, makes the hustle play, dives for the end zone for a meaningless touchdown, but Justin, it meant everything. It meant everything to Titans fans. I texted you, this was the biggest cheer we had all night long. Yeah. We broke 30. We are back in the win column. God, it feels good to even score 30. I don't care if it's 5 field goals and a safety. I don't care if it's 6 safeties and 10 field goals. As long as we get there, I'm cool with it. As long as we end up in the win column, I'm cool with it. Let's enjoy our bye week. Let's, I said, push off the apple picking excursion, don't go to the pumpkin patch yet. Like, let's cheer on our team. Let's go pick some apples this weekend. Let's go pick out our jack-o'-lanterns, let them sit on the stoop a little bit, get soft. And let's just come back to Zen and we have a really important divisional game, possibly against Joe Flacco. I'm kind of hoping Anthony Richardson plays, but if it's going to be Joe
Yeah.
Flacco, it's going to be interesting to see. What more could you ask for is the Titans getting, Caleb Williams in his first start. Then you get Malik Willis for the Packers. And then you get Tyler Huntley, who's the third quarterback for the Dolphins. And then now you might get, the ghost of Joe Flacco, who also won against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, there's a lot of old names slinging it around the yard this year, Justin.
Not a lot of really quarterbacks that should scare you, really. But
no,
this team is struggling still because the offense can't put it together and put up enough points. But very winnable games that have been in front of us, and we let some get away. And I think they're the Colts defense, especially their defensive line. I was looking into that a little bit, is getting banged up. I think Tyquan Lewis is going to be out. I don't know if DeForest Buckner, I think he's been on IR since week 2. He might be eligible by the time our game comes around. But they had another player, I think that's going to be on IR and missing this game. So a banged up Colts team. Quarterback situation kind of undetermined at this point with Richardson hurt. We got things to be excited about and things to look forward to, I think, with this game. And we'll see what happens, but we got a couple weeks before we get there. So we'll see. Anything could happen on Sunday, keeping eyes on different players and availability as far as that goes. But
absolutely.
And also, Jay, I kind of want to pivot a little bit before we get out of here. I know this is Titans Tube, but I got to give a shout out and props because he was one of the most beloved players in our franchise history. And I gotta say, dude, how much of a joy and pleasure it is to watch Derrick Henry running the way he's been running the past 2 weeks, giving some of that old vintage good feelings, power, speed, stiff arms, everything, dude. His performances have been a delight to watch. Hate the uniforms, hate the team he's playing for. It's very bittersweet watching it, obviously. But dude, it's such a joy to watch him having success again behind a much more competent team right now. So shout out Henry. 1 yard away from becoming the only back in NFL history to have 7 200-yard rushing games. The dude's like 31 years old too. He's not slowing down. So I love it. Henry is one of the top 3 easily most beloved players in Titans history. Look at that.
See you in Canton. See you in Canton, Derek. It's just a short, maybe 2.5 hours from where I'm at here in Ohio. I can't wait to go. Start fitting the gold jacket, Justin, because we needed Derrick Henry leaving Nashville wasn't a bona fide solidified Hall of Famer, Justin. If he kind of let the, age 30, 31 get to him and he slows down and he doesn't have the seasons that he had, he might not make the Hall. But Justin, that run on, what was it, Sunday night?
Yeah.
And man, I talk about warm and fuzzies. I can't wait to add to this card. I have his Hall of Fame resume here in this card.
Yes.
And I can't wait to add, he's going to, if he is healthy and gets his normal amount of carries, he's going to eclipse 10,000 rushing yards on Sunday, Justin, with the Baltimore Ravens. He's inching real close to 100 rushing touchdowns. You would have loved to see him have the 200-yard game record.
Yeah.
God, just 1 yard away, but as it goes.
Man. Well, he could have. He fumbled it earlier, a few series earlier, like at the 1 yard line, and then they recovered it in the end zone anyway. What was I going to say? He's on pace. If you multiply 17 games by his yards per game average, he's on pace for 2,000 yards again, Jake. And I know it's early, of the season may start, but dude, if he does it again, like induct him in the Hall of Fame in January, right after the season, because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous production that he's been able to sustain throughout his career. So we'll see. It's so nice seeing the name Derrick Henry at the top of the NFL rushing leaderboard again. Hate to see the BAL and smaller beside his name. That hurts a little bit, but you gotta love seeing him at the top again, dude. What a legendary player. Titans Mount Rushmore easily for sure. So
easy.
Derrick Henry fan for life, and I wish him to continued success even for a bitter rival. So we needed to give that shout out a little bit too. Felt
beautiful, beautiful, heartwarming pivot there, Justin. I really appreciate it. Shout out to the King. Hats off to the King. Shout out to Tony Pollard for getting the boys in two-tone blue back over the 30 marker, Justin. I think that's going to do it for us. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Tighten up. Everybody enjoy the bye week. Enjoy your fall activities because we got a big one in Nissan Stadium coming back against the wretched Indianapolis Colts, Justin, slapping the must-win marker on it for the 3rd week in a row. You know,
must win.
You know, there's a few historical Titans teams that were 2-4 back in the day. And sometimes magical things happen if you get into that, 2-3, 2-4 area. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Maybe a quarterback change will really set off teams trending in the right direction. Maybe not.
Who's to say? Who's to say? All right, tighten up, everybody.
Yeah. Sorry,
we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.